Hey everybody, good morning, and this is going to be just my thoughts, if you will, on TNA last night. Like I told you about a week ago, so just like with Raw, I'm not going to be watching it. I mean, I am going to download it, I have already done that, but I'm not going to watch it because of the fact that it's the same old storylines or rehashing of storylines that I've seen before. Now, there are some things that did intrigue me, but I feel as though they're just remakes or TNA's own improvised versions or revised or revisioned versions of things that have happened in the past that did intrigue me a little bit. They did, to the point that I might consider TNA next Thursday. I might, I'm not saying I will. But here's what I'm talking about. Last night we saw the TNA debut of Katie Lee Burchill. But Katie Lee did not debut as Katie Lee or Katie Burchill or anything like that. She debuted as Winter. That's right. Here's what they did. They put on a black outfit, kind of like a winter outfit or something like that. She had some kind of a dress or something like outfit to where she had something like right here. And they actually, I know she had color in her hair a little bit when she was in WWE, but I think they whitened it a little bit. And it looks like, and a lot of people say it's intriguing the way she debuted it. But here's the way I look at it. It's more the fact that they're using the same storyline that WWE did with Mickie James when she debuted, and she became sort of like an obsessed fan and stalker of Trish Stratus. They're doing something similar, if not the same way, with Angelina. But here's the only thing. Here's the only thing. When Velvet Sky came back in to get her purse, which she forgot, Angelina tried to introduce her to Winter, or Katie Lee, but Winter / Katie Lee wasn't there. And a lot of people are saying, oh, it's, they're combining the Hogan Warrior ethic of 12 years ago, or they're using Undertaker-like things and combining it with that Trish Stratus, with that Mickie James stalker obsessed fan gimmick that Mickie had back in WWE with Trish, again in her feud with Trish Stratus. That's what it seems like to me. But you know what I see? I see TNA making Katie Lee into something like that, but making her more like, God, I hate to say this, more like one of those winter characters that you see in movies, like the kind you see in the Chronicles of Narnia or something like that. That's what it seems like they're doing with Katie Lee. Now, it does seem interesting, but don't be surprised if you see some of the same things, and it might make Angelina seem crazy, but then again, maybe not. Because, if they go the route that Angelina's the only one that could see her, then that might be intriguing. That might be interesting. But either way, either her being the only one that could see her or not, it's still going to be intriguing because we don't know exactly how TNA is going to work this out. Now, on to another thing. Apparently TNA ended Impact on sort of an interesting note. But it's a note we've seen before in wrestling. But never like this. Here you have Flair and Bischoff gloating and riding off in I guess a limo, a Hummer's limo or something like that. And all of a sudden, they're stopped by Kurt Angle. And not Kurt Angle pulling up in a car like we've seen other wrestlers. We see Kurt Angle with a crowbar in hand standing right in front of the vehicle just as it's coming around the corner. And he's trying to break down everything. Trying to break out those. I mean, it's just the same thing, but it's a little intriguing. So that's something to look at, but still, besides that, it's just the same stuff over again. I will give TNA credit on one thing. They are involving the announcers, and they're actually putting some friction with the announcers. Yes, WWE has done that too. WCW has done that. But the friction I'm talking about is the fact that Mike Tenay seems to not trust Taz. It's weird. He doesn't trust Taz all of a sudden. I mean, if you listen to some of the commentary last night on Impact, Mike Tenay is almost accusing Taz of being on Bischoff's side, or being bought off by Bischoff or something like that. So it makes me wonder if perhaps TNA, the writers at TNA, Vince Russo and whoever, might be looking at possibly the TNA originals in the future feuding with the WWE guys. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, wait a minute. They already got a faction thing going on. What are you talking about? Let me explain. Mike Tenay is having some friction with Taz right now. Now that might be a curveball to have a Mike Tenay heel turn. We don't know. But here's the thing. Mike Tenay is having some friction. The announcers are being brought into the story, if you will, slowly. With Taz, basically. But like I said, he's having some friction with Taz. You have one side, one half of this Immortal group, consisting mostly of TNA originals, like Abyss, Jarrett, AJ, Kaz, Beer Money, Doug Williams. You know, TNA originals, people that have been there with the company since the early days and since the beginning. And on the other side, you got a group of guys, a majority of them, with the exception of Joe, who's a TNA original, and the Machine Guns, and maybe Team 3D or whatever. But mostly all those guys, along with Kurt Angle, but with the, like I said, with the exception of Joe and the Machine Guns, you got guys like Kurt Angle, RVD, Anderson, and the Pope, who have all previously been WWE. And they're standing up for TNA against this. So what it looks like to me, is they might be trying to do something later on, plant the seeds, if you will, for the TNA originals, when whether this thing, Immortals thing, keeps going or splits off and slowly dissolves away or something like that. It looks like to me that they're going to plant the seeds right now for a potential another war. And I'm not talking, oh, it's the Fortune Group surviving and they're going to war now with these guys, or a new version of the Immortals, with, you know, feuding with these guys. No. What it sounds like to me is it's going to be the TNA originals, those that have been with the companies from the beginning, and those that stick by the company, whether they've come maybe from up north or not, but those that stick by the company and praise its past and embrace its past history and how it began and everything, going up against those that have come from up north and think they're bigger than the company. That's what it seems like they're planting the seeds for. Basically a TNA originals versus WWE guys. That's what it sounds like to me, just by listening to those announcers. But again, they could throw us the curveball. Now again, I talked about the fact that TNA is taking, I said this in an audio, TNA is taking this storyline into the real world, if you will, or into places like Facebook and Twitter and all that. Dixie Carter, hold on for a second, did it once again. I am not lying. Dixie Carter did it once again. Dixie Carter mentioned on her Facebook, or somebody posing as Dixie Carter, storyline was, mentioned on her Facebook, that she was sitting at home watching Impact and Reaction and listening to a group of guys talking her down, and all they're doing is not degrading her or anything, all they're doing is firing her up. I'm not lying. In fact, I think I can find it here. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. But that's what it is. She's basically, storyline-wise, on Facebook, she's saying everything that everybody's taught, everything that happened last night from Impact to Reaction is just firing her up. That's all it's doing. In fact, I think it's in here somewhere. here she is. This is what she says. Now, I don't think you can read this. Maybe you can. But again, I don't know if you can, but it says right there, and it's at 738 comments, 673 people talking. Again, I don't know if you can read that. Dixie Carter says, or somebody posing as Dixie Carter says, and I quote, saying, sitting at home watching Impact and Reaction like everyone else, interesting to hear a bunch of men trying to tear me down when all they've done is fire me up. That's from Dixie Carter, or someone, as some people have said, posing as Dixie Carter on Facebook. And then I read about how Reaction is, right? How it's Eric Bischoff telling how the plan came and everything, and then at the end saying that next week people are going to have a chance to become immortal. Again, that's a rehashing of NWO. Because remember when Bischoff revealed himself as a member of the NWO, what happened about a week or so later? He gave the WCW locker room 30 days to decide whether they were with NWO or not. It's the same thing here. He's going to probably give them a certain time limit next week, from next week to whenever, to become part of the Immortals or not. And then again, like I said, you add this in with what I mentioned last week, with Dixie Carter's lawyer and both saying it's not over. You haven't seen the last of me, and Dixie Carter saying, oh, you'll have this company over my dead body, and then saying what she did yesterday on Facebook, and then saying what she said a couple of days before on Facebook, saying she's sick and tired of hearing Jeff Jarrett quote Bible verses. I mean, come on, people. Where do you think this is going to lead? I mean, how stupid. I mean, I love TNA, I honestly do, but how stupid do they think we are? We're not that stupid. We know exactly what's going to happen. We know exactly how this storyline is going to end. We already see it. We already know it. But overall, my thoughts are, there were some intriguing parts. Like I said, the debut of Kaylee Burchill as Winter, being this, I don't know what kind of character, gimmick character she is, a combination of a Trish Stratus stalker with Undertaker Warrior-like powers or something like that. I don't know. Ghost-like gimmick. I don't know. Well, only Angelina could see it. That seems intriguing. The thing with Kurt Angle being, even though he's got one arm, able to stop the car and just break down the windows and all that, that looks intriguing. The situation with Jeff Jarrett, it seems interesting. I mean, he basically supposedly threw Joe off the stage, and Joe's injured. We don't know how long it's going to play that out. So, but again, there were some intriguing parts, like I said, and there were some that weren't. So, but again, mostly, it's nothing more than a rehashing of 15, 16 years ago. We all see it. So, those are just my thoughts on last night's TNA. I will burn onto DVD and then record onto DVD TNA Impact from last night as well as Reaction, just so I could say I have it. But again, that's just my thoughts on it. Tell me what you think, and I'll talk to you all later.